In this Golf Smart Insight, we're going to discuss the YouTube video discussing different swing techniques. So one of the members of the site asked a question about the specific video linked below, where Mike Malaska discusses 4 different ways to swing a golf club. And it is, I want to start by saying this video is not to discredit one method versus another. It's really just a goal of hopefully educating and possibly all of us understanding why one system might work better for me versus you versus whoever, and understanding the true differences between them. So Mike Malaska describes 4 different swing characteristic or swing theories. He's got kind of the body-driven swing, he's got an arm-driven swing, he's got an X-factor swing, which is probably close to the body-driven swing if we were to actually, break into the pieces of it. And then he's got what he calls the momentum swing, where it's basically the arms and the body kind of working together. So I don't want to go through each individual one and say, what I agree with, what I disagree with. But I want to give you a little bit of hopefully background information or maybe insight, so that when you rewatch this video, you'll kind of understand why certain swings worked for him, certain swings may have caused tension and problems in his lower back, and what it means for you as a golfer. So the first thing to understand is that everybody has their own personal biases. And it doesn't mean I don't mean bias as far as this is how I think, but biases in the way that their body moves. So I relate those 3 biases to the way that you square the club, the way that you organize the path, and the way that you create speed. Now, it looks like when he's demonstrating these different swing categories, he's able to change the way his body's moving. But what you'll see is he uses roughly the same arm movements in transition, regardless of the swing system that he's using. He may or may not be aware of it, but he has more of a steep arm movement. And anytime you have a steep arm movement, you're going to struggle with any of the body-driven swings. So one of his conclusions is that he's tried them all and he didn't like trying the body-driven swing or the X-factor swing. He said that the X-factor swing is great for creating speed, but has a hard time controlling the club face. Well, I will agree that it is great for creating speed, and it requires shaft rotation to square the club face, not the method that he tends to teach. So some of the guys that he describes as more of this momentum or blending swing would really, in my mind, be more of a body-driven swing if you factor in their arm movements and what they're doing. So you can review my video on the different ways to square the club, but real quick, he's basically, one method would be using more of this get the hands out in front of you and supinate, and the other method would be more of a shaft rotation, kind of like this. So one is using the whole path, 2 is using just the face or rotating the face to the path. If you're going to use a body-driven swing, you have to rotate the face to the path. And if you rotate the face to the path, then it tends to eliminate some of the jarring feeling that a lot of golfers get at impact if they tend to have more of this steep arm pattern. So that explains to me why when he demonstrates them, his transition arm moves kind of all look the same, regardless of the way that he's demonstrating or the method that he's demonstrating, even by his own classifications. So I personally am more of a lower body dominant swinger. As a result, I dominate most of my movements with my hips and with my core. As a result, I was a really good driver of the golf ball, and I tend to struggle with wedges. There's no one best way. The best way is to learn how to manage your swing for the swing where it doesn't totally fit. So I would say that this video is more of a cautionary tale of understanding the pieces, but if we go with the classifications, I would say that more tour pros tend to be in the body-driven swing than in the arm balance swing, as he calls it. Because basically what he's doing with the arm balance swing is he's using his vertical arm motion, and he's still using his body, but he's kind of supporting the movement with his body. So as a result, you're going to see longer straight arm, or more of a straight arm at impact. That golfer is going to tend to have trouble swinging hard and controlling club face, where the body-driven swings you can tend to swing a little bit harder and still control club face. and they tend to be have more difficulty with driver and 3-wood. So just understanding how these kind of classifications fit will hopefully help you understand your game. Now, he does say at one point that certain swings are better for your body and certain swings are worse for your body. So I wanted to just give a real quick kind of injury prevention, injury awareness as far as how movements relate to that. So there are a number of different things that can cause injury, but some of the common ones would be high speed or high change of direction. So if you're going from fast to slow or slow to fast really quickly, that can tend to produce micro tears. Eccentric load, so if I'm resisting a weight moving away from me that's moving away with a lot of force, that can tend to cause injury more so than if I was doing concentric or basically pulling a weight towards me. So you've got your eccentric, you've got your rapid change of direction, and then you've got end range of motion. So some of the worst things I could do is if I put myself in a maximum stretch end range of motion and then I were to quickly activate and change direction going into the end of my range of motion eccentrically, right? That's a pretty good recipe for producing injury. So here's what happens and how that relates to his discussion of some of these swing characteristics. If I tend to get steep with my body, what I'll have to do is I'll have to stall and decelerate, which does tend to put more stress in my lower back, especially if I'm limited in my rib cage or hip mobility to be able to initiate the deceleration from there. So if I get steep with my arms and I swing hard, it's that jarring feeling at impact that will tend to contribute towards lower back pain. If I use the body-centered or the body-driven kind of swing approach, I can do so in an even fashion, and I can do so keeping most of my joints in neutral range of motion or avoiding the end range of motion when I have a lot of speed and velocity, and that can be very safe. So there are some things that he say produce injury that are really just opinion, and that's fine if that's his experience and that's what he's seen either with his players or with himself. But when it comes to injury producing mechanisms, what he describes as causing too much strain on the lower back by itself, if you had good technique, would not put extra strain on your lower back. In fact, one could make an argument because of the way that the body has to work with an arm dominant swing that it's going to tend to produce more strain. Now, I do agree with him that as you get older, so let's say once you get past about the age of 65, you tend to lose some of your ability to side bend, and that tends to produce some path issues. So then you will do better having a little bit more arm powering or arm squaring with supination. But that's kind of individual specific, and it really is what I've seen working with some of the older population is that if you can still maintain the body drive of the swing, you'll tend to produce better shots. It's just what is your body drive is going to look very different than what is a 30-year-old's body drive. So hopefully this discussion helps you understand a little bit of how injuries might relate to your swing, what might be some good ways to classify the swing, and ultimately why certain instructors might be biased towards one swing or another. Take a look at them when they're demonstrating their movements, and you'll learn a lot about why they think the way that they do. If you like this video and you want to see more of them, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or head over to Golf Smart Academy and get a free membership so you can check out all of our concept and drill videos. If you have a suggestion for a video that you'd like to see discussed, feel free to submit it to support@golfsmartacademy.com.